The GEX Trilogy is finally here, and it's proof that remasters matter, because now we can play these. Some people might think they're amazing, others might think they're just bang average, but we get to play these amazing to bang average games on modern consoles, and it means that, fingers crossed, they will be preserved going forward. We won't have to whip out a PS1, whip out a CRT, play it over there, get a RetroTink, or all these crazy things. Now we can just go onto Steam or Nintendo Switch or PlayStation, download them, and finally play them. And I like to make videos on all sorts of remasters, so if that's your thing, then please subscribe, join the channel members down below. All the support is appreciated. But GEX is a game that I have never played. I heard about it, I watched the Donkey video, I saw the questionable things that GEX says in the games, and also just how weird and referential these games are. So included in this is GEX, the 2D platformer, and I'm not really a big fan of 2D platformers. There's GEX Enter the Gecko, it's not called GEX 2, I don't know why. And then there's GEX Tree, Deep Cover Gecko. The final two are 3D platformers. They're the ones that I was most interested in. So of course, when I downloaded it, I started with GEX, the 2D platformer, and this game actually looks pretty cool. It has a similar-ish look to it, like Donkey Kong Country, with the sort of 3D animated characters on 2D backgrounds. And I played the first couple of levels, and it's a competent 2D platformer. I won't go out and say it's anything amazing. It takes a lot for me to want to get properly into a 2D platformer, and I played the first couple of levels, and it's just pretty decent. So here's the game select screen of GEX. You have GEX 1995, GEX Enter the Gecko 1998, and GEX Tree, Deep Cover Gecko, and he has this sort of female companion kind of thing. I don't know, it's pretty interesting, but just jumping into GEX 1, look, you have save states, here's the controls, you know, you get tail time, whatever the heck that means. And this is GEX 1, so I do genuinely believe that this game actually looks pretty good, okay? So, I just want to show, like, tomato soup, what's that a reference? If somebody could tell me, I don't know.
Welcome to the New York City mass transit system.
But, like, what does that reference mean? I don't know. Apparently, they are releasing a patch where you can play the PAL versions, which have, like, more British kind of things, which would suit me more. Because, I don't know, I don't get this. Find a videotape and you'll be cool, okay, whatever that is. But yeah, as you can see, this game actually looks pretty good. It does kind of remind me of the likes of Donkey Kong Country, where it's just a bit more animated than the likes of Mario. I don't even know. Could somebody tell me what kind of animation this is? And there's all these sort of like TV things you can find around the levels. I don't really fully know. But I think starting off a game with specifically a platformer with a kind of horror themed level is very interesting. Because, I don't know, when I think of a platformer, I think of cutesy and fun and cute, and I know that's not what this game is going for. But even like Conker's Bad Fur Day was kind of like that. And look, GEX can climb walls, which makes a lot of sense. He can in the 3D games as well. But yeah, I think for this game, first couple of levels I did, pretty fun, very competent game. But can I see myself beating it? Probably not. I'm also taking a lot of damage here. And also, the trophy list is actually pretty nice too. You can, and I did accidentally do this, there is a trophy to set up the debug menu in GEX 2, and I did accidentally set it up so that I unlocked all of the main collectibles. So I have a lot of the trophies in the game, completely unintentionally, but there you go. You could do that if you really want it. Now, will I platinum it? Probably not. I don't know. I can't see myself doing it, because I will explain it later when I go on to playing GEX Tree, but there are some issues specifically with collectibles in it that I want to talk about. So there we go. I died.
Let's get back to the mystery van.
And there's a Scooby-Doo reference that I actually understand. I mean, there's one thing that is undeniable about this series, is that it really stands out above the rest. It has a certain charm. I'm not sure if charm is the word I would use, but it has a certain something where it's constantly referencing things. GEX makes all of these weird quips and annoying quips about things that I have absolutely no idea about. They put it into context. The second GEX game came out in 1998. I was born in 1998. And from what I can understand, the GEX references were already fairly niche back in 1998. So now, as somebody who was born the year that it came out, 95% of them go over my head. There's a couple of them that are game references. Some of them are movie references. that I kind of understand. And then there's a lot of references to real life people, real life names. Some of them I know, but the majority of them I don't, so they just go straight over my head. But it gives the game a very, very interesting feel. GEX Enter the Gecko is the one that I've played the most of so far. I'm about 50% through the game. And at the start, I was genuinely having a pretty good time. Like over the past year, I've made loads of videos on different remasters, old platformers. And I've said this ad nauseum that there are certain levels to the 90s and 2000 platformers. You have Crash, Spyro, Mario, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, all of them right up the very top. There's others included in there. And then you have the ones that are all below that, and they all just sort of mesh into one. You have Glover, which I did a video on. You have Croc, which I did another video on. You have Tonic Trouble, which was a game I played in the N64 back in the day. I really enjoyed it, but that game does look questionable now. And I think GEX belongs down there somewhere. And honestly, starting up the first 3D GEX game, I was surprised that GEX actually controls pretty well. I'm used to having a certain level of jank with these lesser platformers. If you play the original Croc or even Glover's gone for something completely different, but there's always something just slightly off about the movement or the jump. But in GEX, it's actually kind of not the case. It overall feels like a really fun platformer to play. You have this karate kung fu launch kick, which is a good way to cover some distance. There is the odd time where you will jump and you won't have the right momentum, and that kind of feels a bit iffy. But apart from that, I was pleasantly surprised by how GEX controls in 3D. And then you go into the levels, and they're all in some way, shape or form a reference to something. The first level is like a haunted house. You have almost like a Chucky-esque killer doll kind of enemy trying to chase you. You have ghosts, all this sort of stuff. And he's just constantly sending out these quips. Some of them are references to some form of a horror movie, and all the levels are named after something to do with a horror movie. And this is a weird one. You can go, I think, either or with the first two levels, but this was a weird one to start off with. And I mean, just a really dark level that isn't laid out particularly very well, I don't think is a great way to start the game, but overall it was pretty decent. But then I got into the second level, and the second level was a complete reference to Looney Tunes. At one point, you're actually dressed up as a bunny. There's Elmer Fudd enemies trying to shoot you. There's Wabbit signs everywhere. The main collectible are carrots, and it has this very cutesy, whimsical feel. And that's when it sort of clicked with me, because you weren't really sure what the next level was going to do. Now, unfortunately, as you get through it, the levels start to become formulaic. You have, these are the Looney Tunes kind of levels, these are the haunted house kind of levels, these are the prehistoric kind of levels, and they sort of start to meld into one. And that's kind of where I started to lose a bit of interest in GEX. It was a totally fine, totally competent platformer, but once that novelty of, oh, I wonder what's next, oh, it's a kung fu level, once that novelty wore off, it kind of just lost a bit of luster. Now, the camera in GEX is fairly questionable. It's constantly clipping in and out of the terrain. You have this sort of like picture noise that it makes when you hit off something and it can't move, which does kind of get very annoying, but the camera isn't great. And this is where I wanted to talk about the actual remastering job of GEX, because they did a really solid job. It's the Carbon engine from Limited Run Games, and to my understanding, they want to preserve the experience as much as they possibly can by just keeping the games essentially the exact same. The 3D GEX games have widescreen, there's save states, there's rewinds in all of the games, and then you can swap the borders, you can put a CRT filter on it. So from that aspect, it's just, we will give you the games, we'll add a couple of bells and whistles on top, like you can play the music in a menu, or you can see behind the scenes stuff, or different art, or promotional material, and that's all cool. But what I like about this is GEX is known for having some questionable lines. A lot of them do genuinely go over my head. I don't get a lot of these references, but there's some questionable lines in the game, definitely. It is very like 90s, 2000s edgy, where in GEX Tree, you're sort of trying to save this woman. He makes some questionable advances on her, especially because he's a lizard hitting on a real life woman. But, you know, whatever people are into. But if it's a line that you might just sort of raise an eyebrow at, and it's not like completely over the top, crazy offensive, I think you're better off just preserving the original experience and putting a splash screen, because if I'm being honest, I think when it comes to old movies, TV shows that have questionable things in them, you're maybe not preserving is the right word, but keeping it so that you can almost see what we used to do and don't repeat what we used to do. I think that is important, and that's what I like about this, that they did manage to keep that intact. So let me know what you think about that. I don't know, I'd say people are all over the place on whether or not they want to remove them or they want to keep them, but in an ideal world, if you can, splash screen, just keep it there. And then you can sort of see, oh god, they said that back then. Okay, we won't say that now. So here is GEX Tree. As you can see, Gex is in his full 3D glory, and you have this little cool karate kick, which is actually pretty fun to do. And you can spring on your tail. It's just a fun game, okay? Now, what I want to highlight in this portion of talking about Gex is, one, how in GEX Tree the levels are much more improved over GEX 2 from what I've played, but they didn't fix the one major flaw with GEX 2 that really annoys me, and it's probably the reason why I won't 100% GEX 2. So, essentially, this is Mario 64, as you can see. You load into a TV or a warp paint or whatever you want to call it, and you have 3 different objectives. Now, you can complete these objectives regardless of which one you choose, because in the likes of Mario 64 or Mario Sunshine, the levels change depending on which star you're doing. There might be a different enemy placement or this, that, or the other. There's different reasons to go back and replay the levels. But the problem with Gex is that to get the main collectibles, you have to do something in the level. So here, recover the 3 staffs of Ra, or release the spirits from the 3 lost arcs, which is what I did. But the problem is that I can complete any 3 of them, and even if say I did recover the 3 staffs of Ra, and then I released all the spirits from the lost arc and unlocked both of them like level warp out points, I will only get one of the TV remotes, which is really annoying. And it just means that you have to go through and play the level 3 times to be able to fully complete them, which is, I don't know, just a bit of a weird thing. Unless I'm missing something. I did try to Google this, but nothing really popped up. So yeah, I'll just show off this level. So here are the staffs of Ra that we have to find. And they're just really fun. And one thing that I like is that in each level, Gex has usually a different costume. So as you're running around, he's like, I don't know, I'm Bugs Bunny, or I'm wearing this sort of Egyptian thing, you know? It's pretty cool. So to find these things, I have to, of course, get to a certain point in the level, which, again, just to highlight this, for me to do it, I have to unlock this path over here, I believe, but I can't. I have to go and redo exactly what I did in the other level again, and I will more than likely have to do it a 3rd time if I want to be able to 100% the level, which is quite frustrating. So these are the mummies that release the lost arc thing. Oh no, he dropped the staff of Ra. Okay, I know where the other 2 are anyway. So there we go. There's one more. So that was actually the one that I was missing last time, and again, that highlights the problem where I got 2 of them. Now I have to go back and redo them again, just because of the way the game is laid out. But in general, feels like a good platformer to play. Jumping is fine. The Kung Fu kick is fun to do. You have this turtle in GEX Tree that talks to you. And each level, in GEX Tree anyway, has 100 of whatever coin, these bug coins to find. And the progress doesn't save once again. So, you know, as you can imagine, as will be the repeatable or the repeated thing in this video, is that you have to just redo it. So I do need to go here, I think. And most enemies, you just sort of need to get up on top of them and just smash square. It's not exactly the deepest game in that regard. No, it doesn't have to be, but like this is one of them platformers that is, as I said in the main video, just, you know, it's fun. And it's more just the fact that it's playable is the good part of this whole thing. And there's just something, so I don't know what the word is, but kind of cute on how he climbs stuff. I don't know why. I do actually think Gex as a character design is actually pretty good, all things considered. Definitely on the more generic side, but still pretty good. So yeah, this is what I mean, okay? So I was trying to do the staffs of Ra. I didn't end up doing them. I actually found this other path. And now this is one of the ways to end the level. But even if I found the 3 staffs of Ra, I still wouldn't have got the remote. So you get, I believe, a remote for doing 100% of all of the little bug collectibles, and then whatever the level ending objective is. But that is probably the biggest problem with these games. They're fun. They're totally fine, but, you know, should be able to get multiple in one playthrough of a level, because having to redo level 4 or 3 or 4 times, depending, kind of frustrating. So yeah, ultimately, the most important thing about these remasters is making the game playable. And if we go back and look at this channel, Glover was the bare minimum of, we are going to just get this running on a 4K screen. We're going to keep the frame rate the same. Now, Glover specifically had a lot of physics issues where if you upped the frame rate, the physics just got messed up, and I don't know how easy or quick of a fix that is. You probably have to go into the source code. You might even need to remaster or remake the full game. So that's like the bare minimum. At the very least, it's playable. And then you get into GEX and Croc, which I think are kind of on par. Croc is more updated. It has 2 graphics modes, which makes a fair bit of difference, even though the classic one is way better. But both of them are probably on par with the sort of, you know, extra side bits of you get promotional material or art or this, that, or the other. Except now that I think about it, Croc does have how to make a crochet croc, which was pretty cool. And then of course you have the full-blown remakes like the likes of Epic Mickey Rebrushed or Spyro Reignited Trilogy or Crash Insane Trilogy, and they are the upper echelon. Now, it does help that they are better games. Crash and Spyro, of course, phenomenal. Epic Mickey is the case of a game that was pretty decent on the Wii, but with modern controls and a couple of updates to streamline things, it brought it and showed you what this game can be. And I actually really like Epic Mickey Rebrushed. But yes, GEX is now a part of this group. We're getting so many 3D platformer remasters. I'm very happy about it, especially because you get trophies. Just being able to get trophies in games like this, really, really cool. So what other games are left to remaster? Because if I sit here and think about, you know, like PS2 platformers, that would be more my sort of thing. We have iNinja from Argonaut, who also did Croc. I can't really think of any other ones off the top of my head. There's nothing really sticking out. Maybe Tak, if you like Tak. I enjoyed it, specifically the DS game, and it came with this thumb thing for a DS stylus, so you could use your thumb. It was very strange, but I've very fond memories of playing that game on the DS. So yeah, GEX Trilogy is here. Let me know if you've got it, if you've played it, if you like GEX, if you don't like GEX. What are your memories with GEX? Because I have no memories with it. If you really enjoy this content, please subscribe. Join the channel members, support the channel. All these games are expensive, but you don't have to. Just watching, commenting, liking is enough. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all on the next video. Goodbye.